Okay, hello and welcome to Unlimited Knowledge Videos. My name is Teacher Carl and welcome today. In today's class, we're going to have a look at the grammar tense that is present perfect. So let's share the screen. Today's grammar lesson is going to be in present perfect, and we're going to have a look at the affirmative form and the negative forms. So, firstly, why am I going to use present perfect? What will I use it for in my life? Well, we're going to use it, first of all, for past events that are connected with the present. So, usually, this is an event that has started at some time in the past and has a connection up until the present, in the moment now. So, we can use it to talk about past recent events, any unfinished actions, and also past experiences. So things that we're going to use to talk about present perfect, we're going to talk about any recent events that have happened to us, maybe some news that we need to report, something interesting has happened in our life and it has a connection with the present, or maybe just some past experiences that we've had. And the interesting thing about present perfect is that we don't say exactly when these things happen. We're going to use some different time references when we use the present perfect. So, firstly, our affirmative form. This is the form that we're going to use for positive statements when using present perfect. So, always first, we're going to start with our subject. Then we are going to use either have or has, depending on the subject that we use. Next, we're going to use the past participle. And finally, we are going to use our complement to give context to our sentence. Now, which subjects do we need to use with have and which subjects do we need to use with has? Let's have a look. So, here we have the subjects we're going to use with have and the ones with has. So just repeat for me. I have, you have, we have, they have. And if I have two people or two nouns or more, for example, Carl and Ivana, then I'm going to use have. And the subjects with has, again, just repeat for me. He has, she has, it has, and one single noun, Carl has. So these are the subjects that we will use with have and the subjects that we're going to use with has. So we might use the present perfect to explain some life experiences. For example, I have traveled to Cuba. I might use it to explain something that's happening in the present. For example, I'm not hungry. I have just eaten. Or it has rained a lot today, something I would say a lot when living in London. And let's remember, we're not going to specify exactly when this action has taken place. We're going to use some different signal words. So things like already, until now, or maybe tonight. So no exact times when using the present perfect. So signal words that we're going to use with present perfect, we're not really going to use on Monday or at 5 o'clock or anything like that. We're going to use these kinds of signal words here. So until now, just, for, since, always, never, ever, which we're going to use for our questions, and so far. Now, when we use our present perfect, we need to use the past participle form of the verb. You may know it as the V3 verb. Now, unfortunately, there's no rule that we can apply to remember these. We just have to use our amazing memories and try to take them all in and remember what they are. Now, there are lots and lots of um, past participles. If we have a past participle that is regular, like a past verb, then we can use the ed form. So if it is regular, it is fairly easy to remember. We're just going to use the ed form. However, if it's irregular, then like the past verb, we're going to need to change it. So here we have a list, not of all of them because there are lots and lots, but probably some of the most common ones that you're going to use when using a past participle. So let's have a look at some examples of present perfect. So the first one we have here is I have passed the test. So the action started maybe in the morning or maybe last week, and you have just received your results today. So it has a connection with the present, an action that started in the past but has a connection with the present. Tina has broken her arm. Poor Tina. So Tina has broken her arm in the past, but it still has a connection with now because her arm is unfortunately still broken. And the president has traveled to Cuba. So maybe he traveled last week and he is still in Cuba at this moment. So it has a connection with now. And finally, the teacher has been here before. So as you can see, our use of has and have with the past participle and then the different subjects that we use them with. Very commonly, present perfect is used to talk about actions or situations that started in the past and are still true now. So, for example, I have lived in Puerto Vallarta since I was 5 years old. And when we use this, when I use the since, it says that this action, it's still true now. So I have lived in Puerto Vallarta since I was 5 years old. It means that now I still live here. Or they have been married for 25 years. They have been married 25 years ago, and in the present now, they are still married. So here we have an example of a sentence. Which one are we going to use? I have been, I have been, or I have been. If you chose this one, you are correct. Well done. I have been to Alaska. She has heard the rumors. They have bought a new car. Luis Miguel sang many songs. You have thrown all your effort in the rubbish. He has eaten like there's no tomorrow. My uncle, who's very romantic, my uncle has written 1,000 love letters. And a difficult option here because they all read the same, but the correct option is this one here. The club has paid for our meal. Okay, so let's have a look at how we're going to use it in negative. So with negative, all we need to do is add a not in here. So we're going to use subject plus have not or has not. Again, the past participle, and finally, the complement. Now, to make our English go from here to here, what we're going to do is we're going to contract the have not and the has not. So we are going to use, in place of has not, repeat for me, we're going to use hasn't. Very nice. And in place of have not, we are going to use haven't. Beautiful pronunciation. So let's have a look at this in action. Julio hasn't called me yet. Very sad. Or I haven't seen the new Avengers movie. Again, something very, very sad, because apparently it's very, very good. So for our negative, all we need to do is change the have and the has for hasn't and haven't. Okay, let's go to an activity. So here we have a letter from Emily. And Emily would like to tell her brother about many of the things that she has been doing. So let's read this together and see if we can spot some evidence of some present perfect. Hey, brother, I hope you're doing well. I wanted to tell you about my mum. She's experienced so many things in her life. For example, she has been to many countries like Japan, Australia, and Brazil. She's already met lots of famous people, like the actor Tom Hanks. She's eaten some really strange foods too. She tried octopus once. However, there are some things that she hasn't done yet. For instance, she hasn't taken a hot air balloon ride. She hasn't seen the Great Wall of China either. And she hasn't read Harry Potter books, but she has sent them to me as a birthday present. Despite all the bad experiences in her life, my mum has never lost her sense of humor. She's always making jokes and making us laugh. She's also learned many lessons through her life, which she shares with me. Anyway, I just wanted to share this with you. Let me know if you want to hear more. Take care, Emily. Well, isn't Emily's mum a wonderful, interesting person? So let's have a look and find the use of present perfect. Okay, so I hope you're doing well. I wanted to hear my mum. She experienced so many different things in her life. What have we got here? So what we can actually do as well is we can actually contract the affirmative. So here we have she has, and what we have done is just contracted it to she's. And this is a much more natural way of speaking. Native speakers, where they can, they will always try to contract the words. So where we see she's, in this example, we are talking about she has. However, we also need to be careful because we can also contract she is, which we find here. She is. She is always making. Okay, so let's go back to our present perfect. For example, she has been to many countries. She has already met lots of famous people. She has eaten some really strange foods. Here we have a negative example. There are some things she hasn't done yet. For example, she hasn't taken a hot air balloon ride. She hasn't seen the Great Wall of China. And she hasn't read Harry Potter. And despite all of her bad experiences, my mum has never lost her sense of humor. She has also learned many lessons in her life. And those are the wonderful things that Emily's mother has done. And she has described them to you using the beautiful tense that is present perfect. Okay, guys, so that concludes our quick look at present perfect. I really hope that you enjoyed the class and it gave you a little bit more information about how we can use this. Thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you guys in the next class.
Чтобы познакомиться с нашими преподавателями поближе, улучшить свой английский, разговорную речь, записывайтесь к нам на уроки. У нас, кстати, есть бесплатное занятие пробное.